Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
Hey everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of Hypecast, show where we get hyped about stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We finally nailed down that intro.
We did. It's every intro we do is always completely stupid and insane.
We've been through this before. I think every intro of every podcast
Every intro of
ever
every
is
podcast
awkward.
Is awful and terrible. I'm your co-host Tom Ryman.
I'm the other co-host, David Bell, and who do we got here? Who we got
Michael
here?
Swaim, and I'm hype as shit.
Yeah. Welcome, Michael.
Ravens.
First
Super
time
Glow
guest,
sticks.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the first time we've had Michael on any.
That's the hypeiest
Well,
aspect
he's
of
on.
all.
He's on
D&D.
D&D.
At
Yes.
any of the non-D&D podcasts.
Yeah.
So cool.
Thank you for coming, Michael.
Excited you're here.
Should we
We should just dive right in.
Should we dive right in?
Yeah. What trailers do we have this week?
We
got
have the new second Venom trailer.
Mm-hmm.
You
The
all
new
watch this?
second Venom
The
trailer.
it's new
Explain.
and it's the
It's
second.
the second trailer.
trailer.
Okay, yeah, I think I saw
Actually,
the
it's
teaser as well.
the third.
It's the third. It's the second full-length trailer.
Yeah.
Um,
What are people's thoughts?
I'm still fine with it.
Yeah. I've already sort of stated I have the sneaking suspicion it's going to be bad.
Sure.
But it's based off of nothing.
I love that Tom Hardy will dive into any role where he gets to do an accent. And I
Yeah.
love that Eddie Brock is like, yeah, I don't sound like myself. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I sound different than Tom Hardy sounds.
I love the
I'm acting
accent.
really hard. Like Revenant and shit, and I love it. I'm
yeah.
excited just for the Tom Hardy.
His Revenant voice
connection.
is out of control.
That is, I did get an impression about this trailer. I didn't watch it today. I had watched it previously, but they end on a comedic beat,
Yeah.
and it doesn't work because Tom Hardy's performance is so weird. Is that?
You mean the We Are
do
Venom
other
beat?
people agree?
No,
consider
that
At the very
comedic?
end where he says something, he's like at the convenience store.
yeah, no,
He-
that felt true to the character for me.
Oh, that's good. I don't know anything
that's
about the
kind of
character.
how he behaves in the comic.
Yeah.
I'll eat both your arms, then both your legs, then your face, and you'll be walking around
Right.
So
an
I'll eat-
armless, legless, faceless thing. Right?
Rolling
Is that
like
it?
a turd.
rolling down the street like a turd in the wind.
It's not that. It's like when he
Turd in the Wind
comes
could have been
back and he's
funnier.
like normal himself again, and he says something like
I
they
saw
end on
I
him.
got a parasite.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
that
right.
line that I was like, that seemed to be that wasn't delivered for a trailer. That's not a bad thing. Like the fact that, like, to me, if they can't make a trailer
Mhm.
out of the movie, that's always a good sign for me. That means the
Often,
movie is
yeah.
like different in a way that they can't.
My concern with it, though, is what I think you're pointing to, which is that I think it's smart to, and we say this in the shadow of the Deadpool cutout, start doing mutations on the Marvel formula, and like the whole thesis of the trailer being there's been enough superheroes.
Right.
But here's like a superhero adjacent movie again. But obviously the ethos of this is trying to say we're going to do a super villain or an anti-hero or something, and it's going to be different. And the trailer did. I watched each trailer like 4 or 5 times. And this one, the thing I noticed was it excited me at first because I like all the things they did to distance it from traditional Marvel canon. Like it said in association with Marvel Studios instead of Marvel Studios. But then as I watched it over and over, I feel like I started to see the bits that do fall into the Marvel formula and are just going to be. So, like, it's not going to deviate tremendously from an Avengers or a Spider-Man.
Right.
I think it's going to be more along the lines of a Punisher movie.
Sure.
Is it rated R?
Yes.
Okay.
That's good.
I mean, I kind of hope it's gory. Although you would know the comics more than Like, are the comics gory?
He's not. But
Okay.
like people,
Carnage is.
yeah, people adjacent to him are, and there's like a Carnage type character in this movie. It's one of the symbiotes that they pull from Eddie Brock in the Lethal Protector / Separation Anxiety
Right.
storyline arc. The leader of the organization that does that to him is the character that's being played by Riz Ahmed in the film. And you see in 2 different sequences where he has a symbiote. He's got an alien. It's like this gray thing, and there's a scene where he makes big axes with his arms.
Oh, that's him. Okay.
That's the bad guy, yeah. And that's one of the other symbiotes they pull off of him. It's kind of more along the lines of a Carnage type.
Yeah.
But like you could make him gory, and that scene seems to imply that he's going to eat that guy.
Yeah.
But that's like this is like a threat he makes a lot. I've been corrected
Right.
on this by one of our commenters, but on all the Venom comics that I read, which is admittedly only in the 90s when they gave him his big hero turn, eating people's organs and spleens and shit, it's a threat he would make to Spider-Man all the time. It's just a threat he likes to make.
Right. Okay.
But in the comics that I read, he never actually ate anyone.
Right.
Like his big move to like kill people when he feels it's like a necessity is he drowns them with his symbiote, basically.
Jesus.
Hugs
Like-
him.
No, he just lets it go into their nostrils and
Fills
mouth,
their lungs. Yeah.
and they just can't breathe, and then he just
That's
kills them.
meaner than
Yeah.
eating them.
But like he
Or
doesn't.
cutting them in half with axes. even.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like he does it when he has to when he breaks out of jail one time, for instance, he kills the guard that way, but like he's super bummed about having to kill someone who's like a quote unquote innocent person.
Right.
He's just like, no, but it's more important that I get out so I can
Right.
serve the greater good, which at this point in his storyline
You're
is killing
so
Spider-Man.
powered. There's a way you could knock the guard out, I'm sure.
Sure.
In comic book world, where
Right,
knocking people
you're-
out is a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
He's a dude that's in shape, plus he's
Yeah.
got an alien on his back, which makes him super strong. You
Yeah.
could just clock that guy in the head and just leave.
Yeah.
Also, when Eddie's in there, their consciousness is shared, or Eddie's is totally subsumed, or what?
It's shared.
Yeah. Looking at the trailer, he does the split
Right.
face thing.
And
Those
it
are-
only wraps around him. I'm just wondering if he eats the spleen, if he would have to taste spleen going through Venom's mouth and then into his human mouth.
I assume so.
Right.
If he did it, yeah.
Also, sorry, this is raising a lot of questions because and I realize I shouldn't have thought this because Spider-Man 3 also does this, and the comics do this. Like, he's just under it? It's just this goo covering him?
Sort of. It's inside him. And
Is it like
can-
an astronaut suit? Can he shit
Yeah.
inside of it and it'll like deal with it?
I assume so.
Yeah, that's
Like,
what.
he
Like,
can-
can he taste it at all times? He must be able to breathe, but the air must be just awful.
It's
in
kind
there.
of it's sort of inside him, and something that they haven't done in the movies, they might do in this one, I don't know, is that he can make it look like whatever he wants to.
Yeah.
Including like full shape-shifting disguises?
Not a full
Okay.
a disguise. He can make it look like clothes.
Okay.
So when Eddie Brock is going undercover or something, like he's made himself look like a cop, he can make himself
But can he change his face like Mystique style?
not exactly. But he's making, in the comics anyway, I don't know how they're going to handle it in this film.
Okay.
He's making his Venom face do that. Like he's
Wait.
consciously giving himself huge fangs.
Oh, so he's obsessed with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, in some ways, yeah.
Yeah, he is. But he's making himself
So
look
he could
scary
look like
on
a
purpose.
velociraptor.
When he first shows up, he just looks like Spider-Man, only with a mouth. And then later on, he starts to make himself have huge fangs and a
Right.
huge slobbery tongue. Like he's making himself look scary on purpose.
So he just never has to buy clothes again because
Nope.
he's got this thing? Yeah.
Nope.
That's really
Just thinking of all the
convenient.
practical applications.
Yeah,
So,
so
like-
like going to a wedding or something.
So, like a lot of times, what happens if like the symbiote gets dispatched, or otherwise, put out of commission, where it kind of like sloughs off
Banshee
him.
screams at you and it falls off.
Right,
Whatever.
he's either in his underwear or naked.
Oh, okay.
Like he
Damn.
just doesn't. He just the it's not on him so much as it's inside him, and
I
it
wouldn't-
comes out.
I wouldn't want to be
It's
naked
weird.
in that thing, right? Like you would wear underwear if
They're
you're wearing a
doing-
symbiote.
It's kind of a. He's one of my favorite comic characters, and it's kind of an interesting pathology because it is a shared consciousness. And then they're doing a new comic run right now to sort of, hype up the movie, where they're basically in a relationship. Like, that's how he treats it.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's, yeah.
This is pretty exciting.
Was there ever a period in the comic where he's full on evil though? Because
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's always thought he was a good guy.
right.
Sort of like the Punisher.
Yeah. Or
But-
Hitler.
Sure.
Mhm.
But he started out as a Spider-Man villain, and so did the Punisher.
Sure.
I
just wonder about if the movie's going to stay true to that, because even though that's clearly what they're pushing, like it's a anti-hero forward trailer. That brief shot that I had to pause over and over because it's like the CGI money shot, that after you squint, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's Venom blown out with Tom Hardy inside fighting the other dude.
fighting Riz Ahmed with
in a
his
different
costume
symbiote.
blown out. Yeah.
So I think they're going to pull the old trick where they're just like, he's evil, but you can root for him because there's a way eviler dude. Which kind of makes it not very... It's not deviating much from the formula.
Right.
Yeah, it could be kind of along the lines of Dexter, even though Dexter kind of sort of softballs that too, where Dexter only murders bad people. So it's like,
Right.
well, I'm
Who's
still
directing this?
kind of on his side. The Zombieland guy, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Johnny Greenwood.
Yeah, I hope the reason the trailers, because the first trailer gave me vibes of, I've said this before, of like Ghost Rider, where like the effects looked a little cheesy. Like they looked good, but like the action of him like whipping this thing out and like, but like I'm hoping it's just the reason these trailers seem awkward to me is because it isn't a conventional film. Because it sounds like it shouldn't be. It
Yeah,
sounds like
that's
it
my
needs.
hope.
Yeah, it sounds like it needs to be kind of weird.
I super love that they're having the alien talk to him. I really love that.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
As just a longtime Spider-Man comic geek and Venom comic geek, that just makes me happy on a personal level. I am curious though how they're going to make him Eddie not likable, because they don't have Spider-Man in this movie. Like Spider-Man's not part of his origin in this film,
Right.
which is weird.
It's
Well,
weird
this
that
is-
in this universe, no one cottons on to Venom and like hones in on him. And I want
Right.
to see Ant-Man and the Wasp come in Act 3.
Right, because
really-
he's in San
Venom.
Francisco. Yeah.
Yeah.
so-
yeah.
Sony really needs to get something going with Marvel more, because what is the other film they're doing soon? The other
Silver Sable and Black Cat, right?
Right, yeah. So they have like all they have
Oh, and
is
Morbius.
Morbius, that's it.
Fucking Morbius.
All they have is Spider-Man, unless they can make a deal. Like even with Spider-Man, they have to do it through Marvel. They have some weird deal. And so they don't have like a big expansive property to cling on
It's
to.
all
So
Spider-Man characters.
yeah, so they have Venom. Everybody knows Venom, but then after that, it's gonna start getting real fucking weird.
Yeah.
The originals, I felt, got thin immediately. You're already like, okay, Green Goblin. Wait,
Yeah.
really? The next one's Hobgoblin? We're not going to deviate? This
Not-
is insane.
Not even Hobgoblin.
Already out of
It's
villain.
the second Green Goblin.
It's Green Goblin Jr.
Yeah, it's not even Hobgoblin. It's a different dude. Yeah, like they didn't even get through the Sinister Six in
Yeah.
the original. Like they didn't. We got through some of them. We got through 3 of them. Well, 4 of them. Then
Not
it's on and off.
Kratos. Craven. I want to see Craven.
Craven, sure.
I think we've glimpsed Craven in something, have we not?
No.
Okay.
I want
Never.
another
All right.
crack at Electro too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they should get a redo there.
Yeah, they should.
I like Mysterio also.
Mysterio is in the next.
Imagine
the
a
thing-
CG-driven movie where one guy's powers is practical effects. There's so many themes and like things you could do around that.
That would be great.
Mysterio's in the Homecoming sequel.
Oh, nice.
Is he?
Yeah, Gyllenhaal's playing him.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. I am so hyped for that.
Gyllenhaal
Oh,
to me counts
shit.
as a seal of approval. Like he obviously reads scripts.
Yeah.
The glaring exception being Prince of Persia, where I think he was just like, "This is the time for me to make the money now."
Right. That's. I guess
He
that's
knows
the.
what's a good script.
He knows what's a good script for like smaller films, right? Like, has he done a blockbuster? That was good. 2000, not Day After
Day After
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
the one you just said.
Prince of Persia.
Prince of Persia.
I can see why you would have looked at Prince of Persia because it was Disney, Bruckheimer. It was all the people behind
Prince of
Pirates.
Persia could have been good.
Right. It was a thing that was like, well, this is like a Pirates thing, or this is a weird idea. Maybe this will be good because it's the same team. And
Yeah.
it's just bad. It's just a
What
bad
was his
movie.
first movie where he wasn't creepy at all?
Yeah.
He was
He,
like,
he needs that
Yeah.
creep.
oh, October Sky.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of a standard blockbuster in the
Yeah,
family.
yeah, that's true,
In
yeah.
the family arena. Yeah.
I mean, I trust it also because just Homecoming was good.
Homecoming
so.
was real good, yeah.
I'm just wondering about these Sony pictures where they don't have Spider-Man because they can't always have Spider-Man.
I'm
So
sure what
they're
they're
gonna
going to
be
do.
doing these-
I'm sure what they'll do is they'll develop their side films and then integrate them somehow because you can't.
Right.
Like, I mean, they've already, like at Comic-Con, they were already asking them, you know, when they were doing their Venom stuff, they're like, so are you going to be in a film with Spider-Man? And Tom Hardy's like, yeah, sure, I'll do it.
Yeah, fuck it.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll
Easy
fight
for him
Tom
to
Holland.
say. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is another one where I know Tom Hardy said he's doing this for his kid.
Uh-oh.
Which is, well,
I
yeah,
don't like when they say that.
sometimes that's a very bad sign. Usually, right?
Yes, I mean, that's how we got Tommy Lee Jones and Batman Forever, depending on how you feel about that.
Right. Well, that's a fun performance, but
Yeah.
I think at the time it wasn't considered. No, it was huge at the time, wasn't
It
it?
was a
Batman
huge
Forever?
film. Yeah.
Money making wise, yeah. But I always think it usually shows when the actor doesn't understand what the fuck this is about or why they're there and hates being there.
Yeah.
And I think you can tell that in Tommy Lee Jones in that movie.
Right.
Actually, in most roles, he's better to camouflage because he's like usually a sourpuss anyway. But you know all the backstory. He fucking hated that movie and doing it.
Yeah.
And all the people involved.
It's such a singular performance, though. It's the craziest you will ever see Tommy Lee Jones behave.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, they're doing it for the kid. I get it because there's that story about making Mad Max where Tom Hardy's kid was on set and they're hanging Tom Hardy like head first, and the kid's talking to George Miller like, what happens if like the wire breaks? And he's like, well, I imagine he'd go under the car. And it's like, I imagine being Tom Hardy's kid and like having stuff like The Revenant and stuff and just being like, do a fucking superhero movie, give me anything.
He did Bane.
Oh yeah, he did. That's true. He did do Bane. Forgot.
You merely adopted the darkness. I was born in it.
Oh no.
I think he had also said he was a fan of the character. So
I want to see Bane teams up with Venom against Professor X from Logan.
Excellent.
They just demolish him. Act one.
just a sad, confused old Patrick
That's what I want
Stewart.
to see.
Just
Sad,
tip
confused
his
old
wheelchair
man.
over.
Bane does a big monologue. Venom's like, let's just kill him. It doesn't matter.
They both end up feeling kind of bad about it because he can't do anything.
Wait, Bane and Venom versus. So it's young Picard versus old Picard.
Well, they realize that they're both Tom Hardy, so they share
Right.
that.
but they're also.
They unite against old confused Patrick
Right.
Stewart, who has to, at the last second, summon through time James McAvoy to fight his battle for
Okay,
him.
I just want to get Star Trek Nemesis in here somewhere.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the tie that binds them all.
Right.
What's the next trailer?
It is Castlevania season 2. I haven't watched season 1, so.
I really liked it, actually. It's only 4 episodes, so you can breeze through
Oh,
it pretty
boy.
quickly. And you don't have to know anything about the game.
Well, this trailer it looked quite good.
What's to know? You walk left to right, you get the whip, you kill Draculas.
It's true.
Like, really,
You
what's
kill
to know?
Draculas.
Yeah.
A Dracula comes out, you whip him.
People know this if they listen to One Upsmanship, also our gaming podcast, but Castlevania I've never gotten the appeal, and I fall for every game series.
You've never played any of them, or you just haven't?
No, I played them all, and I never finish them. I'm always like, yeah,
Oh.
I get it. And I felt that way about Bloodborne, which I feel is like the 3D Castlevania, basically.
Man, I feel like Castlevania is way more gentle than
Gentle,
Bloodborne
that's true.
is.
But so in the end, it doesn't matter though. It's a different medium.
Yeah.
Is the show cool? I like Draculas.
I like Draculas.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like a Dracula?
If the plot's good.
It is. It's
Yeah.
written by oh crap. I can't remember the person who did the series now.
That's the great grandson of O. Henry, right? Oh,
yeah,
Yeah.
oh crap. Yeah. No, it's a really cool
Gift of the feces.
Let me see. I'm gonna look this up. But yeah, I
Should
really
I-
enjoy the first series.
Should I play the game? I've never played Castlevania, and I think I went back and played one, but it was that problem where it was just an old game, so it was like, this seems
Some
like
old
it could have been
games
cool.
do hold up, but
Yeah.
I tried Castlevanias when they were like current or contemporary at the time when I was a little kid. I will stand behind this hot take. Mega Man, you don't really have to go and play, and Castlevania, you don't really have to go and play.
Ooh.
We need
Spend
to
your
do
time in Super Mario World.
we need to do a one-upsmanship about
Sonic
that
2.
because I vehemently disagree with both things you just said.
Oh, okay. You like the Castlevania
I like
games.
Castlevania and I like Mega Man.
Can't duck. It's a disgrace.
You can slide, bro.
You can slide. After X, sure.
No, you could slide in. Oh no, wait, it was after X. You're right. I'm sorry. Oh wait, I thought it was earlier than that. Anyway, well,
Maybe.
that's a different podcast.
Different podcast.
The show is the showrunner is Warren Ellis
Oh, well, there you
Wait.
go.
of Castlevania.
Why do I know that
He's
name?
a big comics guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Great tweeter also.
Yeah.
The show's really good. I like it a lot, and the new season is coming out soon, and I'm hyped to watch it.
I should watch it.
And it's so
Pretty good.
short. Like no are they 44 minutes, an hour, half an hour?
They're 22-minute episodes.
22
Wow.
minutes.
Is this new season going to
Warren
have
Ellis.
more episodes? I assume?
Yeah, this one will. Like the first season was only 4. I guess they were kind of like testing
Okay.
it to see if people liked it.
Wow.
And,
But Warren Ellis written anime, I'm down for sure.
yeah, definitely.
to
I
try
love
out.
the style, and it's just cool. It's a cool story.
Yeah.
It's just for Dragulas. killing
Exactly.
Dragulas.
I'm like, who knows what the story will be, because it's just anything in the realm of classic monsters. So yeah, it depends who does it and how well they do it.
yeah, and it's pretty good. I've enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to this new
You're
season.
hyped for it. You're hyped. When is it?
Hype when
When
it's
is
got
this?
to Dragulas. It's sometime in October.
How does it
Okay.
compare to the underworld mythos?
Oh,
Or
it's way better.
Great.
It's
Okay,
not
good.
even. You wouldn't even compare.
I'm
them.
just trying to triangulate your opinion vis-a-vis mine, because if you were like, yeah, Underworld's also great, I'd be like,
No. It's not like that. It's like I don't really know what to compare it to.
It is, now that you mention Underworld, it is that like for the most part, any movie that involves Draculas tends to be bad, right?
It tends to be pretty awful.
Like statistically speaking, I'm
Yeah.
not saying they're all bad, but if someone's making a movie about a bunch of Draculas, like it's probably bad.
I don't understand what our cultural consensus is on Bram Stoker's Dracula. Because when I watch it, Keanu Reeves makes me laugh.
Yes.
But I think we think it's good, right?
Well,
Isn't that a good one?
there's
I enjoy the movie. Yeah, it's just Keanu is wonderful and delightful.
Right.
Bless his heart. He's
There were-
doing his best.
There were a lot of mistakes. It's Coppola, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
Coppola doing Dracula with 100% practical effects.
Yeah.
Everything's done in camera, even the things that don't need to be, which is what I find the most impressive about it. Things like there's a scene where he's like on
The
a
train scene.
Yeah, he's on a train and he's like reading a book, and there's like a shot of the book, and like then superimposed on it is the train going by, and you think like, oh, that's a superimposed shot. No, they did a giant book and a model train, and they filmed them together.
They're super not
Well, and, then,
Yeah.
and then you see
It's
a
not-
shot where like there's eyes appear in the sky through
And
the
they
window. That's a
projected
rear
the eye.
projection.
Yeah.
It's
They did it.
Dracula watching you.
Yeah. They did
Sometimes
it.
Dracula watches.
They did it on purpose. It had something to do with, I think, Coppola's son designed the stuff. It was something where they like specifically set out to do it all in camera just to say they could do
Oh,
it.
so mob style. They're like, my son, put him on the payroll. He
Well,
makes trains and giant books. Find a way to make it work.
Yeah, for his whole life, he's just been pissed that his son loves trains so much.
I think
And
the son, by the
constructing
way,
giant books. That's his two things.
I think the son was Roman Coppola. That whole Coppola family.
I don't know. You
Oh,
got
really?
like
He's
a
a
really
director.
distant, haunted look
Oh
in your
no!
eyes.
Well, it's
Yeah,
Roman Coppola's a
stared off
director.
into the
Sophia
middle distance.
Coppola did,
I know Sophia. You got
and then of course
virgin
there's
suicides.
I believe the name is Nicholas Coppola, who later changed his name to Nicholas Cage.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would
It's a
say
hell of
that's
a family.
a stellar legacy.
Yeah.
It's a broad spectrum of a legacy, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
Hmm.
So yeah, this is a good. It's. I would say it has way more in common with Bram Stoker's Dracula than it does with
Oh,
Underworld.
that's
It's grim.
Or like Interview with a
Nice.
Vampire.
Kinda.
Yeah.
It's grim. It's really dark. It's crazy violence. It's not. There's some magic in it, but it doesn't quite go in like a steampunk direction,
Right.
so it's not really comparable to Van Helsing, which was a terrible movie.
Yeah, good.
Michael, did you say you have or haven't seen Interview?
Haven't
with the
seen
Vampire?
Interview with the Vampire.
You should do that.
Yeah, okay.
It's
I'm
worth
biased because
seeing-
the people in my life hate Tom Cruise, and
Well,
I like Brad Pitt, but I have lots of powerful people in my life who don't like Brad Pitt. So whenever
Right.
I ask, like, shouldn't I watch this? They're like, Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, you don't need to watch it.
I think it's worth seeing because it is Tom Cruise unlike any role I've seen him. It's the farthest from a role
Yeah.
Tom Cruise would take, especially at the time, because he's like, I don't know. It's just worth it. You got to see it because he's a villain. He's acts very different. He looks very different than usual, especially at this time in his
Nice.
career.
Yeah.
So like, it's one of those roles that made me like Tom Cruise more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Taking it was a bit of risky business then.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
So
So yeah, Castlevania.
yeah, Castlevania season 2. Watch it, catch it. What's next?
I think we're alone now. The
This one,
Peter Dinklage
Yeah.
Last Man on Earth film.
This one, I dropped the trailer in there. I hadn't heard anything about it.
I was going to put this on the more hype section.
I thought so. Yeah, when I was looking at it, I was like, this could have probably been a movie that deserves more hype.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I don't know much about it.
Well, I had already seen the trailer just because I gravitate to post-apocalypse stories. So like I don't remember where, but someone mentioned like new post-apocalypse movie. I'm like, yep, see trailer now. And I gotta say, it looks like it could be a trailer for a screenplay that our mutual friend Noah Byrne wrote.
Oh really?
About two people in the apocalypse. That I'm like, oh, I hope it doesn't. You ever get that weird thing where you're like,
Oh yeah.
see
yeah.
a trailer and you're like, oh, I hope this doesn't step on so and so's project too
Yeah.
much. Yeah. So I'm actually watching this come out with a great deal of tension.
Great deal
See
of
how much
anxiety
it
about
overlaps with South of the Border. Yeah.
There's been a bunch of. I mean, there was Last Man on Earth. There's been I Am Legend. I always I never had like a script or an idea for it, but I always thought someone should make one about the last person on Earth that's legitimately just one person.
Yeah.
I know why they haven't made it because that would be probably
It's
really
hard to
boring
do,
or really
yeah.
hard. But whenever they do this premise, it's never it's that I haven't watched Last Man on Earth, and I need to, from what I hear.
It's
But-
funny, but I guess as someone who's obsessed with truly visionary, like apocalyptic fiction,
Right.
it lets you down if you want a super high concept sci-fi.
Right.
Like I think what you're getting at is Last Man on Earth, and this does it too. Obviously, from the trailer, you can tell is like they don't stick to their guns very long.
Exactly.
You're like, there's only one person. By episode 2 of Last Man on Earth, you're like, okay, there's 2 people. By episode 8, you're like, okay, there's a small community.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the impression I got from that show. Is just
Including
seeing, like, the
relatives
new-
of
yeah.
people. Yeah.
And so it's that. Like, I want to see something stick to their guns, basically.
I agree. And if they keep it to 2, I'll still be interested. That's still pushing it pretty far.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Did you guys ever see The Station Agent?
No.
It's almost post-apocalyptic in that it's basically a play. Dinklage is this like lonely dude who lives in an abandoned train station
Yeah.
and then makes one friend. And I think there's a third character, and that's all that happens.
Oh, okay.
Very good though.
That's
should
yeah. Well,
see it.
that's the movie that blew him up.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was Game of Thrones. Did that get him towards Game of Thrones?
The Station Agent was way before Game of Thrones, but like
Oh, wow.
I think Station Agent is the reason that he came on the scene as like an actor.
I knew super critically acclaimed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the most exciting thing I think about this is that it's nice to see him in a role
Yeah,
that
he's in
looks
it.
like it requires acting.
Like I
Right.
think his
Like-
presence elevates what the concept is.
Yeah, it was cool seeing him, you know, because like when an actor's in a TV show for so long, there comes a point where like when he was in X-Men, I was just like, oh, good, something that isn't Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just happy to see him doing other things.
He was the voice of the little robot in Destiny 2.
Oh yeah, he
Not
was.
very evocative.
Yeah.
Not a big challenge acting wise.
I remember listening to the
And yeah,
sound clips of him sounding really
I'm a
unenthusiastic.
robot.
Yeah.
I'm over here. Go over there.
But that's like it's like the thing with like you see like John Hamm where it's like he did Mad Men and then he just sort of vanished. Like he does things that, like it's that television thing where someone will do a television show and then that'll sort of be it.
Yeah.
Even though they're really good, people like Bryan Cranston. Bryan Cranston's still doing stuff.
And when they transcend it, it is exciting. Like we talked
Yeah.
about Patrick Stewart I always worried about him, but no, he's been fine. Like he
Yeah.
keeps his career going.
He's
with
hanging in
stuff
there,
here
yeah.
and
Green Room.
Where you're like,
Holy
oh,
shit.
I thought you'd be relegated to I am Jean-Luc Picard at the end.
Yeah.
Remember Conspiracy Theory? He was the villain
Yes.
in that.
Mel
Yeah.
Gibson bites
Yeah.
his nose
Yeah, he's
off.
Mel
great.
Gibson
Green Room.
drowns him.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Conspiracy Theory.
Mel Gibson's coming back. What the fuck's that about?
Yeah, he's doing a thing with
upsetting to me.
Colin Farrell. They're doing
Okay.
a thing, which is like, come
This
on.
makes me sad.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't do that. we don't need Mel.
No, we're good. We're all
We
good.
got
We're
enough
good
of
with
Mel. We got enough of Mel.
Should we move to the next one?
I think so.
Alita, Battle Angel,
Yeah.
the James Cameron produced, Robert Rodriguez directed live action. Anime?
right?
Who else did I see? There were other notable names that popped up.
Yeah, I think there were.
There's one other at least. I can't remember who, but yeah, it was like a who's who of like producers and executive producers.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh boy, sheesh, they got lots of money on this one.
I think this looks good. Like on paper, I'd be like, I don't know about that. But just watching the action, there's nothing in this trailer that I haven't seen before. Like in the sense of how the action is done.
Yeah.
But there's just something about it that intrigues me, I guess.
The trailer.
Like
I like the way it looks. The trailer's kind of boring to me.
right.
Like I am so sick of watching people spin in slow motion through like
Yeah. That was the shot.
Glass
projectiles
particles as they shatter,
or like whatever, just two projectiles.
Oh, finger chains. You don't
Yeah.
like the finger chains?
like finger chains.
I liked
sometimes
how they shot the finger chains. The finger chains looked cool the way the cinematography was treated.
In the sequel, there's a Dracula with finger chains.
What you gonna do about Dracula finger chains?
But yeah, I agree that it's when you look at all the elements, you're like Blade Runner plus robots fighting. There's nothing,
Yeah.
and unlike Gyllenhaal, Christoph Waltz has lost my vote of confidence. Of like, just because Christoph Waltz is in it doesn't mean it's going to be an Inglourious Bastard.
This is true.
Um,
Did you see the Zero Theorem?
no, I really
Oh.
should though.
Yeah,
It's
Terry
a Gilliam.
Yeah,
right?
it's Gilliam basically doing Brazil too.
Then I should definitely.
Yeah,
see. I
with
love
him in
Brazil.
it, and Matt Damon's in there too, which is delightful.
I like when they sneak a Damon into things.
Yeah, and they really sneak him in, and it's Matt Damon wearing the craziest fucking outfits ever. So it's just go see it. It's
That's a Gilliam.
It's Gilliam. It's peak Gilliam.
Get into this crazy bullshit outfit.
Yeah.
Okay, who am
but yeah-
I? You're the devil, Tom Waits. All right, that sounds good.
I'm good with it. Fucking Tom Waits. He's in Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah, so I'm reticent about it, but I agree that when I open my heart to the trailer and watch it with the ability to get excited, it excites me.
Yeah.
I'm excited about watching Robert Rodriguez make this film.
Yeah, I want it to succeed. Robert Rodriguez. I never saw the second Sin City. I didn't hear anything about it, but for the most part, Robert Rodriguez, I like all his stuff. Like,
He didn't actually. I don't think he actually did Second.
Oh,
Sin
really?
City, right? Wasn't that full on Frank Miller?
Crimson Peak.
oh, maybe it was.
No. That's Guillermo del
Guillermo
Toro.
del
Oh,
Toro,
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Rodriguez did El Mariachi, Desperado, Once
Okay.
Upon a Time in Mexico, and then he
Okay.
went on to do Spy Kids, which are good movies.
I've
I
heard those are really good. I
Yeah.
haven't watched them, but I should, yeah.
What I like about those movies is it's Robert Rodriguez doing them with all the same like actors and people he'd do in his like gritty like Mexican crime movies. So it's like Danny Trejo as their gadget man and Antonio Banderas as
With,
their
I
parent.
assume, a wacky monocle that makes
Yeah.
his eye big in frame, yeah.
So it's like all the same people, but they're doing like a kids movie.
Cheech Marin in there?
He probably
Must
is.
be.
Oh yeah, from Dusk Till Dawn. He did
Dusk Till
Dusk
Dawn.
So like Rodriguez, definitely early Rodriguez is great, but like
Machete Kills.
his later stuff isn't bad either. So seeing him do this big of a budget and like I don't know,
Yeah, no, it could be really good.
yeah,
He went full independent for a long time. You know, he just does
Yeah.
his own. He has his own studio in Austin. He just films all his shit there, pretty much.
Yeah.
I always get excited when a competent director is given, like I really liked when Spielberg did Tintin because it was his first animation, so it was like, oh, someone like Spielberg doing animation just being let completely loose like that's really fun to me. So I'm kind of hoping this is the same with Robert Rodriguez.
And those sequences were technically impressive, but were you not bored as hell?
with Tintin?
With Tintin?
Tintin had its problems.
I guess I felt like Spielberg proved with that his home is live action, or like he needs like living flesh
Right.
puppets. Whereas the one that really impressed me was I was always like lukewarm about Wes Anderson, with the notable exception of Royal Tenenbaums, which I love.
Sure.
But then when he went animation, I'm like, that's what you should have been doing the whole
Yeah.
time. You're so good at
He was
animation.
perfect for animation.
Yeah, Fantastic Mr. Fox is pretty great.
I think Isle of Dogs is underrated. Personally, I really like it.
I
know
still
it's
haven't seen it. I
controversial,
need to
but
see it. I've heard good things.
If you're a fan of stop motion, you
Yeah.
have to see it because it's the most complex new one ever.
Right.
You know?
There's definitely like whenever a director does something like it bumped, like when Sam Raimi did Spider-Man, it was like, what the fuck, this is amazing.
Yeah.
The thing that bums me out is when they never go back. Like when Peter Jackson did Lord of the Rings, I was like,
And never went back.
well, that's like
yeah.
a practical joke on Hollywood. Like you got the guy who did fucking Dead Alive to do, and then he just
It's
never went
amazing.
back, and it
Yeah.
was like, oh, okay. Like I'd love to see him do a horror movie again.
Oh, one of the best careers ever to watch in chronological order is
Oh,
Peter
yeah.
Jackson's. It's goddamn delightful to see him go from Dead Alive to Frighteners to Lord of the Rings. You're like,
Yeah,
who's
it's
your
like,
agent? They're
what the
good, man. Like his
Fucking
leaps.
Meet the Feebles.
I know. Meet the
Feebles.
Feebles is so good.
Just
His leaps up the career ladder are astoundingly like quick and
Right.
fast.
well, you can do the same thing with Sam Raimi too. It's
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah. How'd you get this opportunity after this thing? Yeah.
Yeah, supposedly Raimi got it by just going to the producers and geeking out about Spider-Man, and they left the meeting like, that guy really likes Spider-Man. We should probably give him Spider-Man.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
It was making me
Well,
uncomfortable.
Quick and the Dead was before then. I think
Yeah.
you see glimmers of like he can pull off a
Simple
superhero
Plan.
movie
Yeah.
there. Simple Plan is great.
Yeah. And Raimi did go back. He did Drag Me to Hell.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
he did. He got back in touch with his roots. But man, people who don't know Peter Jackson's like Meet the Feebles and Dead Alive and shit, if we saw him go back to his roots in a high budget way, it would be the craziest fucking
Right.
movie we've ever seen.
It would be so great.
I would love to see Peter Jackson be like, well, fuck it, mates. Like,
Just
I can't do
remake
New
Bad
Zealand
Taste.
accent, but yeah. Bad Taste. That's the one I couldn't
We
remember.
gonna,
That's a trifecta.
We're gonna kick him down into the bug pit.
Yeah.
And Kong, you get a glimpse of it in King Kong.
Oh, yeah.
with the bug bit.
And the fact in Kong, there's the crate that says the Sumatran rat monkeys. Yeah.
Yes.
Solid.
Kick ass for the Lord.
I kick ass for the Lord.
Oh,
Fucking Father
Dead
Dead
McGee.
Alive's
delightful
kind of a
film.
masterpiece. Yeah.
yeah.
It truly is.
All right. Any more thoughts on Battle Angel?
I mean,
It's based on a comic, right? Graphic novel.
Yeah,
I
I
thought an
think so.
anime.
Oh, an anime. Okay.
I'm
That would make sense.
completely. I have no
Manga or anime or both?
possibly both. I don't know. Comments are going to have to yell at us for this one.
Sure.
I know this is a pre-existing property.
What
But
I would
that's all
love
I
to
know
know
about it.
from commenters is if you have read or seen the thing upon which this is based, is it like solid but derivative but good? Or is there something really fresh and original about this that we're not getting from the trailer? Because to me, it kind of looks like Blade Runner plus Nick Valentine from Fallout plus a little bit of Lilu from Fifth Element. And you're like, there.
I'm excited. I am excited to watch, like I said, Robert Rodriguez do that movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
While the trailer doesn't necessarily do anything for me, I'm probably still going to watch this movie just because I want to see what the hell Robert Rodriguez does
Right.
with fighting robots in the future.
And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's just, I like it when directors, I don't know.
And with this
go out
budget,
of
he's
their-
never had a budget like this.
Yeah.
And it would be okay, even if it was just like, yeah.
Yeah.
The plot, as it appears on its face, is there's a special robot, so the bad robots want to kill her. She'll kill all of them.
It's Special Boy. It's Special Boy.
Yeah.
Special Robot Girl.
That means Christoph Waltz is going to die.
Oh, almost.
And-
Almost.
Almost
sure.
Oh,
certainly,
yeah. Oh, yeah. He like dies in the trailer pretty much. Like there's this, yeah.
Where he just looks at camera and winks and
Yeah,
sees
yeah.
a tear out of his
Yeah.
eye.
All right. So
What's next?
Forever. Season 1 of Forever.
This is a show I hadn't heard anything about. And this trailer just released today, the day we're recording this, which will be Thursday. So it'll be yesterday for you
Who's
guys.
in it?
Maya Rudolph and Fred
And Fred
Armisen.
Right. And it's on Hulu,
Amazon.
It's
It-
shot very twee. It's shot like it's through an Instagram filter, the
Yes.
entire show.
It might have been.
Yeah,
I don't know
the
anything
trailer
about it.
is delightful. I like how they did it. I like how they are like a comically lame couple, like her handing him the banana and him like laughing at the dishwasher. It was cute.
It's a
and then it gets
constant
weird
pan from left to right,
Yeah.
showing their whole relationship arc. Yeah,
And I thought this was a straight up comedy, and then
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either.
I thought until the second time I watched it that it was another post-apocalyptic thing.
Oh,
Because it was so bleak, and somehow my mind blocked out the extras because there weren't very many. And then when it starts at the end, like you said, it gets to weird shots like a close-up of Maya Rudolph's eye, and in the reflection in her eye is Fred Armisen, like, frowning. So there's, like, weird shots and music where you're like, oh, it's going to get a little uncomfortable. And I somehow took me to, like, is this about a married couple in the post-apocalypse, but they decide to stay together anyway forever?
I had that thought as well, or that like
Interesting.
something. I only watched the trailer once, but yeah, something about it feels apprehensive.
yeah.
yeah.
Like
I got the impression that it's like them joining a cult or something, or there's something sinister happening near them.
Yeah, it. I don't know. It may end up being none of these things, but the way that this trailer is assembled, it made me feel dread.
Yeah.
It did, which is really misleading if it is what it also could be, which is just like, yes, dear. Like a show
Yeah.
about how when you're married, it's forever. There's ups and there's downs, and they're pretty
Right.
funny.
Or just like a real navel gazing.
Divorce on HBO.
Right,
This
because-
Is Us. Yeah.
I guess that's what's weird is the humor leading up into it, them being like a happily married couple, and
Well,
it's so over top. It
dating,
feels
first
very,
meeting and then getting
Right.
married, everything. Yeah.
but like the over to the top, like happiness and the wholesomeness. Almost, it felt almost like Stella, like where it's like it felt like it was trying to make me laugh in a very different way than that could be compatible with something that's like sinister, I guess.
Right, because the tone by the end wasn't like, oh, take my spouse, please. It
Yeah.
was like, marriage gets dark, like for real.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see even a write-up of the premise. I just want to know the elevator pitch.
Yeah.
Did you guys end up watching The Endless? I watched it because you recommended it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Speaking
yeah,
of
what'd you
cult
think?
movies.
What'd you think?
If you like squint past the weak effects, great concepts.
The effects are a little rough.
Fun concepts, a little over expository, but not that bad. I thought it was like a solid B. The only thing that was weird to me was I really thought it would be a statement somehow on cults, and it
Right.
is not.
No, not at all.
Like,
It's
don't
just
take it as that, because then you'll be like, cults are right. I should join a cult.
It's just a story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked. There's some really creepy moments for me. The guy in the tent who's on that really tight.
Let's not spoil the film.
Oh yeah, I guess. Did you see their first movie, Spring?
no.
It's two
but I
directors.
want to now.
That one has a lot more to say, I think.
Okay, cool.
And
I'll
it's
check it out.
Yeah, and it's like that one's I think a tighter film. I don't know.
I really enjoyed Endless, but yeah,
I
will for anyone who's following and perhaps trying to watch all of the movies that deserve more hype that we recommend. Do appreciate that caveat, I guess, that it is very much meant to be taken at face value.
Yeah.
Like
it's
it's
just
not
a bunch of stuff that happens.
right. It's just a story about two
Yeah.
guys going back to this cult and weird shit happens.
I'm very excited to see what those directors.
Oh yeah,
continue
definitely,
To do.
Mhm.
definitely. It's a very original movie. That's for sure.
Yeah. I'm mostly excited for them as like their directing is okay, but like I like their writing is very original or like very fascinating. Like again, you should see Spring. It's again like this. It's nothing like this, but it's the same feeling of like you sort of are familiar with these things, but I've never seen them done this way,
This
and
order
like
or whatever.
yeah.
So yeah,
They're cool.
snuck that plug in there.
Yeah. Should we move on to the news?
Yeah, let's move on to the stories.
Nicole Kidman and Charlize Theron is starring in a movie about Fox News.
I
about
know.
Roger Ailes.
Nicole Kidman's playing Gretchen Carlson, right?
Yeah.
That's
and
definitely a thing
Theron
we
is
should
playing
make a
Megyn
movie about.
Kelly. This feels like it's on the realm of like the movie W. or the movie
Primary
it?
colors.
Barry.
Primary Colors is a good example. Or it's a spectrum. It's either that or it's going to be either like Patriots Day, like when like the Boston Marathon bombing happened and people immediately started writing scripts about it. It feels like it's too recent to say anything intelligent.
There's also no good guys in it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not saying that like Gretchen Carlson and Megyn Kelly absolutely, kudos to them for standing up to
Yeah, but they're not
against
great.
Roger Ailes, but they're also pieces of shit.
But yeah, that's
that peddle dangerous propaganda,
Which is why it's probably going to be like W, right?
Like-
Where it's gonna
and all
be-
the actors probably have strong vested opinions in
Yeah.
how to handle each layer of that character as relates to
Right.
the topic.
Right.
It just seems like, obviously, like you said, it's so fresh. This can't be anything but a chamber of people's opinions bouncing
Yes.
around. It's kind of stupid.
Yeah, the way W felt like it was a bunch of people walking around going like, "Look at me, I'm George Bush." Like it
it was
felt like
an
it was
SNL.
just
of this.
yeah,
it was a 2-hour SNL sketch.
yeah.
It's like it's Michael Moore syndrome. Michael Moore could write a list of things he believes, and I'd probably agree 75% of the time, but he's so fucking obnoxious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing where you're like, now's not the time, and this is not the
Well, we
tone.
need, particularly for a story like this, where like Me Too is still happening.
right.
Like, we need some time to understand and realize what the broader historical context
Right.
Yeah.
of that particular
Also-
story is
And I
want
to see Me Too spread more beyond Hollywood. It
Yeah.
sucks to see Hollywood sort of like own it and then write scripts about it and make it this insular thing in Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's happening in all jobs, and it needs
Yeah,
to, like,
it's such a
spread.
bullshit
I-
thing
Yeah.
that always happens in the movie industry.
I think these movies like forget why we watch nonfiction movies or biopics. Like I, Tonya is a good example of when they do it right, where they're like, "Hey, remember this thing? Now we're going to actually give you the details of things you hadn't thought about or you didn't know."
Right.
This is like, "Hey, remember that thing that happened a couple years ago?" And they're going to get a resounding, "Yeah, we remember." Like
Yeah, it's still happening.
it's still happening. Like, yeah, it's
Here's all the details. Yeah, I remember 80% of those
Yeah.
details.
This was
freshly.
like a year ago.
yeah.
that's like, and they did that with 9/11 as well. But there again, I think it can work. If it's like I like United 93 as a movie,
Love it.
because that was a thing where it was like,
Yeah.
here's a story that you haven't really been told
With as
about
much
something that happened like
transparency
too.
as possible,
Yeah, exactly.
For propaganda class, I watched United 93 back to back with World Trade Center.
Ooh.
And World Trade Center is so laughably like, if you watch it through the context of it, it feels like a Leni Riefenstahl movie for America. It's just like straight up propaganda.
Yeah.
it's complete jingoistic.
right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
The heroes in the rubble. Steve Buscemi's there.
Yeah,
Sure
there's
is.
something weird about having a 9/11 movie with any like famous celebrity in the role, or the same with the
Nick Cage and Michael Pena.
yeah, like there's something about that. Oh, that was me. That like that's why United 93 was good, where they're like, we got a bunch of no-name actors that we just based them off of the actual people and made it as
Yeah.
realistic as possible, and we're not trying to make this like a vehicle for Nicolas Cage. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because at some point, still roughly very like soon after 9/11, he had to read the script and be like, yes, I am an acceptable vehicle for
yeah.
like all the firefighters who died in 9/11. I'm that guy. That's such a bizarre decision to make. Yeah.
Right. For a lot of people.
Yeah.
Many bizarre decisions were made in order for that film to happen. But yeah, like you mentioned I, Tonya, it's like, well, that happened 30 years ago.
Right, yeah.
Like, we have had the time to evaluate the historical context.
Yeah.
And it turns out there was a bunch of shit that
And, like, the-
90% of people didn't know.
Yeah, and then also the ramifications of it, like how it plays out, how it ripples
Yeah.
throughout the subsequent decades. Like we can't, like we're still in the middle of this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't need a movie about Fox News right now.
Did you guys see Kill the Messenger?
No.
Jeremy Renner? Super good.
Yeah.
Unless it's all lies. Because it unveils a government conspiracy so juicy that you're like, this is either not a true story, like it lied when it said based on a true story, or like, why isn't the government taken down?
Right.
Like, it's so amazing. Pretty good movie, though. If I have not looked further into it, so I'm not ready to say all the shit that it portrays happened. But if it did, whoo!
They probably split the difference. They
Yeah.
usually like, but it's funny how much of a lie based on a true story is like that. You get to like, I remember hitting that point in life when I realized like, oh, you can just say that. Like you don't. It doesn't have to be based off of anything.
I think Fargo was the first malicious
Yes.
use of it, or where they were intentionally like, no one's going to stop us from saying this. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Yeah.
I honestly hate that they do that.
Really?
It really
The
frustrates
Coens?
me to do that.
Or
yeah.
now it's become anyone feels
Yeah,
free
but
to do
yeah,
it.
I hate them for doing it because they know better. Like they knew what they were doing when they did that. Like anybody that copies that is just be like, well, let's just do this to get butts and seats or whatever. But like the Coens were doing their Coen brothers shit when they did that.
Where they're like, they'll get swept up more if they believe the lie.
I just think it's distracting. That's a different podcast.
I don't know. I get that with like found footage when it's like, don't try to make me think this is real. We're past that. Blair Witch Project did it, and that was effective. But then when you're watching like
VHS 3,
or like the Vatican tapes or something, where they're like, these tapes were found in this file.
Oh, I don't mind that.
And it's just like, I don't care.
I don't mind that because I feel like that's part of the conceit that we agreed upon. Us in the film, like the viewer in the film, when we bought a ticket to watch a found footage movie, like we're coming into that being like, okay, like I understand that it's not like
I like when they do the black screen and they give you like a minute of text explaining where the found footage came from. That stuff, it's like I can skip that. Just get me into this.
You could just start with the footage and we'd assume someone found this.
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't care. I don't care. Like I know it's fake.
That's more of like a narrative problem.
Yeah.
But because that's like you could just throw yourself, and I have seen some found footage movies that do that. But yeah.
So Mark Maron's going to be in a Joker origin movie.
And they're talking to him to be in the Joker origin film with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah. And he's playing Batman. It's like really neurotic Bruce Wayne who hasn't found himself yet.
Well, like Robert De Niro supposedly playing like a talk show host.
This?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on?
I'm pretty sure it's The Killing Joke.
And I love the funny thing about this article to me was it goes out of its way at the end to be like, but fans of Jared Leto's Joker can rest assured this will not impact the Jared Leto Jokerverse canon.
Thank God.
Like, is there someone who cares that Jared Leto is the true Joker?
Is there someone
and
out
we
there?
have to enshrine that?
Yeah, that's like, no.
This feels like...
Joaquin better have damage tattooed on his forehead or this whole thing has been for nothing.
With the casting of Robert De Niro as a talk show host and Mark Maron and the fact that it's being directed by Todd Phillips, who directed, Road Trip, The Hangover. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure they're doing a version of The Killing Joke, which is the Joker is a failed stand-up comedian.
Did Todd Phillips also do The Big Short?
No, that was Anchorman. Adam McKay.
Adam McKay. Okay. But wouldn't that also, or maybe I'm misremembering The Killing Joke, isn't that when Dick Grayson gets killed by the... Okay. What's that?
That's
it's not even Dick Grayson.
Not even Dick. It's Jason Todd.
Jason Todd.
That's just in the regular Batman storyline.
It just is a thing that happened. Oh, for some reason my brain always thought The Killing Joke was that event.
No, and the Killing Joke is where Barbara Gordon gets paralyzed.
That's what I'm thinking of. So the Arkham games sort of conflate a lot of the plot lines, but if they stay true to the comic, will Batman and or Robin appear? Or will it just be a Joker-centric movie?
I think the movie is just going to be a Joker-centric movie.
That's kind of cool.
I don't think it's going to be a direct adaptation of The Killing Joke, but I think that's that's kind of the angle they're going for, is that Joaquin Phoenix is going to play a guy that just... which is frustrating. I don't really like The Killing Joke.
Okay.
Maybe an unpopular opinion. I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of people come around on that, where it's like it's a great visual story, but like the actual story itself it's like bad. I mean, it's very problematic, and it's just not really a great story.
If you ever dig in and read Miller's scripts like before they're drawn, it's crazy problematic. Like he'll have across the page descriptions.
It's Alan Moore.
Oh, okay. But well, that makes me less
Alan
wary,
Moore is
but I still want to shit on
problematic.
Frank Miller.
Like he has his own problematic stuff.
Because you'll read Frank Miller scripts that are like, this dumb broad walks into the frame looking so knock-upable. And you're like, come on, Frank Miller.
It's Frank Miller.
Is Alan Moore similar? I didn't know that. Okay.
I mean, if you read his stuff, like Watchmen and...
I only read the one where all the Disney princesses
V
are
for
down
Vendetta.
to fuck. No, that was a joke. I've read them all. But Alan Moore recently released a whole, and of course, because he's Alan Moore, at Comic-Con, not recently, but like 8 years ago. It was like a hardbound $120 collection.
Sure, like bound in
I
like
can't remember. It's called like
2,000-year-old sheepskin.
Lost Princesses or something. It's just fanfic of all the different Disney princesses having lesbian
it's-
orgies.
That
It's
sounds
just-
insane.
It's just him. He's doing fables.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Bill Willingham did that. he did it, and it was called Fables.
They
and it was
didn't all
great.
fucking fables.
Some
I'm
of them
reading
do.
Fables wrong. Yeah.
Some of
no,
them do.
but this is straight up hardcore pornography comics of
get
the
outta
Disney
here, Alan
princesses.
Moore.
He's
See, well,
clearly trying to make a statement like, watch me piss on Disney
Yeah,
copyright.
like fuck Disney. But I think he like if you read Alan Moore's stuff, he's got a lot of not great. He doesn't treat women particularly well. He tends to overuse rape and sexual assault.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I agree with that.
because that's kind of at the center of the Killing Joke too.
Right, the paralysis part.
What he does is the theme of the plot of the Killing Joke is the basic idea is that anybody can be driven insane by one bad day.
Mm-hmm. So it's Falling Down, the Michael Douglas
Yeah.
movie. Okay.
So basically, Joker you kind of see Joker he's a struggling comedian that just has a terrible day, and by the end of it, like he's sympathetic at the beginning, and at the end of the day, he's the Joker.
No falling in acid.
I think there is some chemicals involved. I haven't read it in a while. So again, comments, please correct me. I know you're going to anyway. But
there's that pivotal scene where the guy cuts both sides of his mouth and he says, "This is how I got those scars."
yeah.
That I remember.
Yeah, of course. And then what he does to Harvey Dent in The Dark Knight is like, well, I'm going to drive Gordon crazy. He shoots Barbara to paralyze her, and then basically takes a lot of photographs of her and Gordon posed together naked and like shows them to him.
So like The Gift, another good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which gift?
Jason Bateman.
Oh,
It's
okay,
kind of it's like a mix between The Gift and Old Boy.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Like,
Yes, yes. But it's like, or 1 Hour Photo, the twist ending is like, he didn't make them do anything.
Oh,
he just
right.
took a bunch of pictures of them posed. Because that's what his parents did to him when he was little. Creepy.
That's a messed up
That
film.
is a fucked
Yeah,
up movie.
yeah.
But anyway, I think they're going to do a version of the idea of the Joker being a struggling, sympathetic comedian.
So probably not. It's weird because I just saw You Were Never Really Here, and I feel like the intensity level can only decrease. And with the Heath Ledger Joker still as ever casting a shadow.
Yeah.
As much as I love Joaquin Phoenix, I'm kind of not excited. I think can only be a step down in intensity for him because he makes movies where he's in the real world killing motherfuckers with hammers. He doesn't need to be the Joker.
I suspect he's going to play it. I suspect he will go low intent. I have a feeling he'll play it more like Her.
Not insane.
Yeah.
Or insane in the quiet way.
Quiet way.
They
yeah.
should have done this like they did Split and just not told people that it was a Joker film.
That would be great.
Because I wouldn't have thought it was a Joker film based off of what you're describing.
No, and that's
But
also...
even then, I would want Mark Hamill, dude.
Yeah.
You see this weird indie movie that's like a Birdman ripoff where Mark Hamill is failing in his career, and then the twist is by the end he's the Joker.
Yeah, that would
It
be
feels
pretty
like
excellent.
did DC put out like a mass email just saying, "Hey, does anybody want to be Joker?"
I think they're leaning
we
real
don't know.
hard into they're a little more kind of free, fast and loose with their multiverses.
Yeah, and I guess that's probably a good idea.
So they're going to do like a bunch of stuff that's not
They can't be
connected.
Marvel, so they might as well
Yeah.
go fucking
And
nuts.
that's Marvel's thing is like, look how we shepherded this cohesive thing that's so huge, and yet all the pieces fit. DC cannot step to that. They should just do like, well, we're the opposite then. Fucking 5 Jokers. We don't care. Who do you want to see as the Joker?
They should lean into it. They should
I
be
think
like,
they
we're
should.
putting out 5 Batmans this year, all by different directors,
Because fuck
all
it.
by different writers.
Look,
And
we
they're
know
all
what you like. You like the Batman.
Yeah. You like Batmans. Sometimes you like Draculas, but sometimes
Superman
you like...
very rarely. Dash of soups.
Yeah. It's like how Star Trek, how Tarantino's apparently making a Star Trek. It's like,
Sure,
fuck sure.
Why not?
Yeah, at this point.
What are they? I'm just trying to imagine a revenge fantasy plot that can take place in the Star Trek universe. The Klingons overthrow Starfleet or something.
Yeah, and there will be a preponderance of racial slurs in it.
He invents a space word
Yeah.
that you're not allowed to say.
You've never
and
heard
he
it
uses it 400 times.
Right. You've never heard it before, but the first time you hear it, it stings and you feel dirty.
Get out of here, you flibbits. You're all a bunch of flibbits.
And you're like, oh, Jesus. I don't think I can say that word. I think there's room for both. Like, I think DC should do a lot of like one-shot films where they want to do like a weird, like there's a they did a one-shot comic. Mike Mignola did The Doom That Came to Gotham. Mike Mignola does Hellboy,
Right.
Yeah.
and it's a Lovecraftian story, a Lovecraftian Batman story, and it takes place in like the 20s. Make that into a fucking movie.
Yeah, why not?
Like, just do like the crazy multiverse.
they
stuff.
should be. This is what Star Wars should also be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want them to keep going with Hellboy, but do what the comic actually was, which was basically X-Files style
Of old fairy
Monster of
tales
the
and
Weeks of old
fables, yeah.
fairy tales. I really liked the Hellboy movies because I love Hellboy so much. I still feel it was a missed opportunity that they tried to make it a cohesive, like Marvel-esque superhero
should be-
feel. Man, if you've read the comics, you're like, they should make this a fucking series, like a TV miniseries or something. It's so
it would be
good.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Sucked for the actor, but
I really liked the Hellboy comics.
The comics
for
are
that
a
reason.
masterpiece. Yeah.
yeah.
Because you could read about everything they put in. It's like, oh shit, these are all real legends.
And you learn
like,
about like Ukrainian myths that you
That's where I
didn't
learned what the
know.
Babadook was. Not the Babadook, the Baba Yaga was.
Baba Yaga,
in her
yeah.
chicken leg house. Learned about that shit from Hellboy.
Yeah. Speaking of Batman, I'm going to use this as a transition.
Sure.
No,
You know that
segue.
Ben Affleck. You know that Ben Affleck played Batman. You guys know how that's a thing.
Yeah.
He's also making a movie with Matt Damon about the McDonald's monopoly scam that happened.
Yeah, if you guys haven't
That
read
was
that,
nice.
there's a really great Daily Beast article that came out maybe a week ago talking about unearthing this scam. If you guys remember the Monopoly game that they used to do all the time at McDonald's, you had to collect, game pieces, like the different property pieces, and like certain ones would give you a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently there was this ex-cop and fucking organized crime and shit. There was just this huge scam to hoard all of the big money pieces and like basically rip off millions of dollars from this McDonald's Monopoly game promotion.
I guess good for them. I don't see the victim.
I remember thinking at the time there must be some way to scam this.
Yeah.
Did you guys have that impulse when that
Oh, yeah.
how it was happening? Because I was like, as you played it, it became so apparent that you're like, oh, I see. Of the three, like whatever, Park Place, Boardwalk, Third Blue Space, which I don't think exists, but whatever.
Right.
The two are really common, and one is incredibly
One is
rare.
incredibly
Yeah.
rare, yeah.
They immediately invited like, oh, this thing that says Park Place is like money. So of course someone's gonna heist that shit.
You would have to just steal. I didn't. Yeah.
You just need the rare one. There's
Yeah.
always one in
You
each
just need the
set
one.
that was
Mhm.
super rare.
Yeah. So that article's been out for maybe 8 days.
And they're like, we're making a movie.
There was a bidding war over the rights to that
Jesus
story,
Christ.
and
What gland is in producer's head, or who, I don't even know, that they, of the thousands of news stories, they see that and they go like, oh, that's a movie.
I'm guessing
we better start bidding on this shit.
it's probably going to end up being nothing like the actual story, right? Like that's another version of true story. Recent, like there was that 30 Minutes or Less film,
Or Tag.
yeah, or Tag,
Yeah.
which are both based off of sort of those stories, but then like
30 Minutes or Less is based,
it's
off a
real-
gruesome
yeah, it was
story.
a real bummer.
That's what's it called? Evil Genius.
Evil- Yeah, it
Genius
just
is
did.
Also, yeah.
The
Which-
documentary
the
is
doc
on it.
about
Yeah.
it.
I had the same issue with Pain and Gain because that was one where it was like about something that happened like 5 years earlier or something, and it just felt really depressing.
I love Pain and Gain.
See,
No
I-
different
I like
podcast.
Pain and Gain.
I found
Pain
it
as well.
really mean-spirited and depressing
Of
because
course it's mean-spirited.
it's like
Michael Bay.
it's like look at these dumb criminals, and then at the end they do the like what happened to them, and they're like this person died in prison, and they're like playing Coolio, and I'm just like I feel sad. Like why are you making fun of these dead people? Like
I would die in prison if someone promised me that as a result, The Rock would play me.
You play me in a movie. Yeah.
They barbecued hands.
they sure did.
They should die in prison. Well,
I think
don't
that's
actually believe
how they
that.
try to make it okay, is by pointing out that, which again feels weird with the tone of the movie, which is comedic, but then it's like
It's
they
like-
do legit horrible things.
It's like, but they make them out to be like Dumb and Dumber, like that idea that they're like, they don't seem like they understand what they're doing.
Right.
Like they like, but they're making fun of them. Like it just seemed
Tony
like two
Shalhoub's
people
so good in it,
who
though.
were
He
like
is, yeah.
crazy, who did something horrible, and then something horrible happened to them
'Cause they
and it
panicked,
just
yeah.
all seems bad. It just all seemed bad, and it was like, I don't know why we're laughing about this. Like, and then Michael Bay is just such a mean-spirited director to do it.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't think Michael Bay understands cultural taboos, so he
Yeah.
doesn't know even where the line is of what would be mean-spirited.
Nope.
Right.
I think Michael Bay genuinely thinks, well, they're criminals. Fuck them.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it's funny
he-
to make fun of them.
You can tell 1,000% by watching that film. That's exactly how he feels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They clearly, I think that movie came about from the old trope of like, and we covered it on Cracked, that it's only because Florida's police records are public.
Yeah.
We have this weird misconception that people do the craziest, dumbest crimes in Florida.
Right.
And it's only because every police record's public. So the press goes through on a slow news day and is like, this guy fucked a statue of a crocodile.
Yeah.
Better run with that.
It's not true that it's the only state anymore,
Okay.
right? It was just the first state that did that.
Okay, gotcha.
Right?
I think that's true.
I think
That
Yeah,
probably
that's
makes
true.
it's probably like, and then it compounding where they were just looking at Florida because there was the Florida man.
That's what I mean. Is I
thing,
feel
yeah.
like at some point the pitch for this movie was, you know how Florida criminals are dumb and crazy?
Yeah.
Find the craziest one, make that a movie. Why not?
Yeah.
yeah.
But this McDonald's thing, I feel like, is going to go in that direction where it's
Yeah.
just a
Where it's
The
just-
Informant is a similar team doing a similar thing, and I thought it was mediocre.
The Informant. I only saw that once, and
I enjoyed The Informant.
there was some. I remember liking details of it. I need to see it again.
It did one trick that I thought was brilliant that I've never seen before since, but overall I found it boring.
Yeah.
But the trick where his internal monologue is literally unrelated to anything
Yes.
that's going on.
I love
And so they constantly snap back and he just makes a huge decision where you know that he didn't hear anything of what was said. That was a funny technique.
I like that. I think it's one of the best uses of an unreliable narrator, I
Yes.
think, that I've
Yeah.
seen. Guess you find out how implicated he is as the FBI agents find
because
out.
he's bullshitting to you, the audience,
Yeah.
also. Yeah.
So then you find out, you're like, wait, what? What did he do?
Like, yeah, I should have said that earlier.
Oh yeah, I've been embezzling for years. Should I have mentioned that? It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
What was the one Jack Black did that was like that? About Bernie Madoff, I think.
It was the one called Bernie.
Oh, is that
That's
not-
just about
Totally
a guy
about Bernie
unrelated.
Madoff.
Yeah, that's a
although
great movie.
that's a
Wasn't
true.
there
That's also a
Bernie
true
Madoff
story.
movie?
that's based off a true
already?
story.
I
don't
think,
know.
yeah, I think like Pacino played him or
I'm
something,
conf-
or De
that's-
Niro. De Niro,
Pacino's
Pacino.
been
You don't
doing
know
them
Jack.
biopics.
No, that's the one
That's
about
Kevorkian.
Kevorkian.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure De Niro just played him in a movie.
I'm here to take us
Um,
wildly off course as hard as I can.
Yeah, so Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are going to make the McDonald's
Yeah.
Monopoly caper into a film. Which,
Guess how much will be funded by McDonald's product placement?
Lots.
Yeah.
94%.
Is that what the founder was too? Is McDonald's like, we're making movies now? Fuck
I don't
it.
think they're digging the founder.
Oh, okay.
I don't either.
I never
And
saw the
love
founder.
the founder.
That's
I need to see it, though.
that's not a flattering portrayal of Roy Kroc.
Oh,
It is
okay.
an unflinching look at the true story of how Roy Kroc is just a criminal.
That's great. Someone needs to do that with fucking Disney, right?
Oh,
'Cause
don't say
Disney
that on
will-
air. No. Abe and I routinely, we've been pitching for like 3 years.
Oh, okay.
We pitched it to AMC once, and I thought it was gonna go.
Because the Saving Mr. Banks was
Mad Magazine, Mad Men tone, but following the career of a Walt Disney type. Where
That'd be great.
on the one hand, he's a genius at making stuff that speaks to the child within us all in a powerful way. On the other hand, he won't let girls animate, and he's racist as hell, and he thinks the Nazis are like, okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Pretty dope.
Yeah.
He is
Goes around
okay with Nazis.
defrauding tons of Floridians and crushing them in order to make space for
Right, making dummy
Disney World.
corporations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a fascinating dude.
He is.
Someone's gonna do, I think, a biography where you don't call him Walt Disney,
And like
but it's clear that it is.
later in his life, he wanted to like start his own country. Like he was losing his fucking mind.
Yeah, well, as you know, as Disney continues to buy up larger, more and more media companies, we will never see that movie.
Yeah.
That's kind of true, and yet at the same time, it's more urgent than ever because now it's the dominant media force in like all of narrative.
Yeah, we need to chip away at some of that goodwill that we all
Yeah.
have for no reason for Disney. Like, oh, that's fine that Disney's doing that. No, it's not fine.
Yeah. I feel like the shine has come off Apple but yet people still like Disney. There's just something so powerful about good cartoons.
Well, I just saw a thing today that was like Apple's finally crossed like $1 billion.
Trillion. It's the first $1 trillion company.
Jesus.
Yeah, in stock value, and then you look at it, and it's like, oh, because they pay 0.00005% taxes every year.
Right.
Like they literally pay. I saw an article that broke it down. They pay like $50 of tax on an iPhone.
Jesus Christ.
And the 9-year-olds in Africa mining cobalt till their spines telescope. The whole chain. Yeah. The whole thing.
It's, fuck all those people as I look at my iPhone.
Yep.
Well, this is the problem. That's the same
we
Disney
see ourselves
problem.
get rich enough to become that.
Yeah, it's the same Disney problem where it's like, oh, they're buying 20th Century Fox, and it's like, this seems wrong, right? And then people are like, oh, but they could do this crossover, and they could finally do this and that and that.
We're
and it's
so
just
easy
like,
to manipulate.
Yeah, exactly, and it's really hard.
Dave, I saw a story today that I was going to tweet at you. They are looking at undoing that Paramount thing.
What's that? Wait.
That lets movie studios own theaters.
That sounds about right.
And that's hugely disrupting the market in China right now because they haven't made it illegal yet. Yeah.
Yep.
And we're going to go backwards now?
Yep.
Nice.
I think it's because the industry
will buy a bunch of theaters probably.
I'm almost okay with that because maybe they'll start making like non-global blockbusters again. Like maybe if we just give them I mean, it's obviously a bad idea that would have to be reversed, but right now the film industry has no fucking clue what to do.
That's what happens.
And they're not making
But you guys, we could finally have a movie where Kramer from Kramer versus Kramer meets Deadpool. Everything must be owned by the same company.
Kramer versus Deadpool.
Yeah, Kramer versus Deadpool.
Well,
Agent Scully's in the new Smash Brothers. Is this not the future you want?
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
I want to see Agent Scully in the
Smash Brothers. Yeah.
Pikachu comes at her and she's just like, I don't believe you exist.
Yeah.
That's not real.
This is fabricated.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the X-Files and studio bullshit, all together, they're making a Men in Black spinoff.
They are with a pretty sweet cast.
Yeah, this is sort of a why not situation, I think,
I don't care.
right?
Mm-hmm. I even loved 3 because that was my introduction to Michael, not Chabon, he's the writer. The serious man himself.
Oh.
Stuhlbarg. Michael Stuhlbarg. Also was just in The Shape of Water. He's amazing. He's the serious man in A Serious Man. And in MIB 3, he's the alien that sees the future at all times.
Right.
He's a chameleon. He's great.
I didn't see Men in Black 3.
Oh, it's such a step up from 2. And just to see Josh Brolin do his Tommy Lee the whole time is fucking phenomenal.
That was you could only do that casting. There's only one person to play young Tommy Lee Jones.
That's fair. Saying it's a step up from Men in Black 2 is it's backhanded praise. Men in Black 2 is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
I don't know. Maybe it's the age I saw them. I don't care. I watched them all. I enjoyed them all. Like there was never a bar there that was the first one was silly and then the second one was dumb and silly and the third one was dumb and silly and I thought
the first one was very well done.
I thought the first one had a unique look to it.
Yeah,
it was very.
There was nothing really.
I mean, Vincent D'Onofrio
at the time
is fucking amazing in it.
Yeah,
he elevates it. I mean, everybody in that movie is great. I mean,
I don't know. I didn't hold that one sacred. Where like what you saying that the second one's bad, that only just occurred to me. Like you're not wrong. It's just like, oh yeah, that
way
is bad.
Worse than
go watch it. It's very.
Oh, I've watched it recently. Like that's what I'm saying. Is I don't know why, but like my standards for Men in Black films is very low.
It wasn't that I mean, it's just I enjoyed the first one a lot.
Yeah.
Then I saw the second one. I was
Crazy
like,
Rip Torn.
oh, this is bad, and then just didn't bother to watch the third one because the second one was so bad.
Right.
But like, if you go back and watch it with this in mind, it is very clear that there are great chunks of that movie that were cut.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Like, characters jump geographically and the plot advances in ways that make no sense.
They also do like the same gags over and over again from what I remember.
The quote-unquote twist ending, they do just exactly the same thing, but a way more convoluted, weird.
Yeah.
It's like, now the Earth's inside a locker
at the bus
station.
What the fuck?
Johnny Knoxville's character walks off screen and we never see him again.
Plan 9 style.
Did they get David Cross in the third one? Because they had the weird David Cross tradition.
And the Chipmunks. The whole gang was there.
And the
It was amazing.
Chipmunks. Oh man. But yeah, what's the we'll go ahead and click that link, Dave.
What's the haps on the new
Tell me
thing?
that
The new
cast
hotness.
list, because I remember liking it.
Oh no! Hold on.
Because the title held by me, MIB, means what you thought you saw, you did not see.
Oh, so I didn't see Men in Black. So
Rebecca
I
Ferguson.
gotta go see it again. Yeah, Rebecca Ferguson. She just got added, which is why this story is in the
director of
notes.
Fate of the Furious is making it.
Yeah, F. Gary
Okay.
Gray.
Pretty
Chris
good.
Hemsworth.
Oh, that's right. Chris
Tessa
Hemsworth and Tessa
Thompson.
Thompson.
That's his cousin,
Liam
the tailor,
Neeson.
Chris
Oh
Hemsworth.
shit! Les Twins. Camille Nanjiani. Holy shit. Emma Thompson. Rafe Spall.
Rafe Spall.
Rafe Spall. That sounds better. Yeah. Fucking Liam Neeson and Camille Nanjiani.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to see Camille Nanjiani in things.
Yeah,
that's a solid
it's a
cast.
sweet cast. I'll watch that. I'll watch that movie when it comes out next year.
Liam Neeson, I assume, is the new Rip Torn. That's
Yeah.
my assumption.
I
Rip
hope he
Torn-
grows a mustache to
Yeah.
mimic Rip Torn. God damn it, Liam Neeson, if he grew a mustache.
Yeah.
He sort of has
Put
one in
on
Batman
40
Begins.
pounds, yeah.
Yeah. Man, Rip Torn's a maniac. I worked on a movie.
Love
I was
him.
an extra in a movie that Rip Torn was in, and I had heard stories of like he kept threatening the main actor who was like a kid, like a teenager.
He got arrested for trying to rob a bank.
Oh right, and he punched a director. I guess it's no. Yeah,
Like,
that's
we
not.
know he's a maniac.
That's not a revelation. He's a maniac.
Let's put it this way. Randy Quaid is worried about him.
So yeah, Men in Black. The next one on here, and we don't have to talk about this much because it's just exciting, is Venture Brothers Sunday.
Woo!
Yeah, it's about fucking time.
I
I'm
didn't
like-
even know that. That wasn't on the doc. That's so
I just
exciting.
added it. Yeah,
I saw tweets saying it's coming soon, but I didn't know it was this soon.
yeah. They really like.
God damn.
I'm like 8 years behind on the Venture Brothers, which means like 3 seasons, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, okay.
I gotta watch. It was the season 7. I gotta watch the last season again because I've seen it, but I need to watch it again to
I
remember.
think I'll go back from when they move into the town called Malice era.
Oh,
Go
okay,
from there
yeah.
forward. Because that's where all the news story threads sort of
Right.
started.
Yeah, I watched that one fairly recently.
Yeah, great
I sort of
show.
skipped around. Yeah,
Where their
Fucking
ward
terrific
is,
show.
what's his name for a while? Sergeant Hatred.
Sergeant
yeah.
Hatred.
Sergeant.
they like. Yeah, I think Brock is very much in the picture more now because they tried to do a season where it's like they
He's
clearly
in
couldn't
Sphinx, right? He's like out of there
Yeah.
for a while, yeah.
They like couldn't get him for a while, and like that last season or the season before, he was like sort of in it a little bit.
I always wondered if that, because they do seem like the kind of guys who would do shit like, oh, everyone likes this character the best, let's do a season without that character.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know, was it a booking thing? Or
I think it was a booking thing. I think it was.
I could see
don't
that
know.
too.
was-
Patrick
yeah.
Warburton's a busy dude, but I could also see them being like, you know, it'd be totally punk. No Brock
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
season.
Oh yeah.
I also love that of the two, Doc Hammer is the real name, I think. Jackson Public is the fake name.
Really?
Doc Hammer is real.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
Wow, Doc Hammer's his real name.
Jackson Public's real name is Chris something, but I think Doc Hammer's real name is Doc Hammer.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just, I mean,
Go
get
Team
caught
Venture.
up on,
Go
get
Team
caught up on
Venture.
Venture
Good.
Brothers.
Yeah,
I gotta get caught
excited.
up on that
Yeah.
fucking Sergeant Hatred. Can't be around
I
all
love-
these sexy little children.
One of my favorite revelations,
Jesus.
I like watching it. I forgot because he always has the H on his.
Yes,
face.
his whole body
And then
when
when
he
he's
takes.
in the hot tub, there's the A and the T and the Q.
Yeah, when
Oh,
he's
God.
naked, you see that the whole word hatred
Yeah.
goes down his torso.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Fucking Sergeant Hatred.
For me, it's all James Urbaniak, Dr. Venture.
Oh, he's
makes
so
the show,
good.
yeah.
He has a podcast. I haven't listened to it.
It's
but-
very good, yeah.
Yeah.
He's on Matt Gorley's podcast a lot, too. I think they're tight.
Oh, cool.
Cool. Should we talk about a movie that deserves more hype?
I guess we have a few more items in here.
We do?
Oh, yeah.
What else did we add?
We're running real long.
There was
But
that
I had
ex-firefighter who scammed the Yahtzee game
Yeah.
at Wendy's.
Yeah. You know.
I had one quick thing about Mission Impossible that was funny is the reason Jeremy Renner wasn't in it is because they wanted to kill him. They said they wanted to open with his character dying, and he was just like, "No, I'm good."
So I won't be in it then?
Yeah.
He's like, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd rather my character disappear from the franchise
Sure.
with no explanation.
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
So many other characters have done it in Mission Impossible, so.
Yeah. Finally, the last thing is they posted a picture of Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Okay.
And she looks wicked badass.
Who's they? Walgreens?
Yeah.
Paramount.
Yeah.
Okay.
Walgreens leaked a photo from their develop booth, their Kodak stand.
She's just hanging out there dressed as Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
Everyone's worried about her.
Yeah.
What's the project though? What's going on?
They need
Another
to
Terminator
they need to
reboot.
stop. It needs to stop.
Show or feature?
Feature.
Probably feature. Okay.
Because the last 3 were so great.
I wonder
They're making
what
another.
kind of liquid metal thing will be slightly
So
different
this
this
is
time.
It's
is this like literally the 4th reboot, or is it the 3rd
something
reboot?
like that? Yeah.
Salvation
And once
is a
again,
reboot.
James Cameron's like, it's going to be great, you guys. And it's like, you said that about the last film.
You said Abyss was gonna be great.
Yeah. It is being written. There was a writer's room for this film, and I looked up the writers. It is one of the writers for The Walking Dead and Hemlock Grove. Another writer for
Not
the
a good
Sarah
start.
Connor
Not a good lead-off hitter.
That was
Writer
the
for the
show,
Sarah,
right?
yeah, who
Okay.
also wrote oh shit, Keanu Reeves, Rachel Weisz, Chain Reaction. Writer, he's the writer
Cold
of Chain
Fusion
Reaction, yeah.
movie, yeah.
And David S. Goyer is the third. So it's like,
He's a mixed
okay,
bag all around.
yeah, but mostly bad. It's the director of Deadpool, but that I don't think that matters.
I don't
'cause
think that matters with Goyer
The
behind
directing
wheel.
of Deadpool is
They-
not what made it funny and engaging.
right. They're
No.
so far past what made Terminator good that it's unrepairable.
But
because-
you don't get it, dude. This time their blood is liquid metal,
Yeah,
but their skeleton's normal metal, but their skin is liquid metal again.
Was there a Terminator in between Salvation and Genesis?
There was the TX, right?
It went.
Or no,
That
It
was
went
Terminator.
You're
Terminator,
talking later.
Terminator 2 Judgment Day, Terminator 3, Terminator Salvation, and Genesis, and the
Okay.
Sarah Connor Chronicles, which was
There
crammed
wasn't another one
somewhere in
after
there.
Genesis?
No.
No.
So
What
this
was-
is the 3rd
Christian
reboot.
Bale was Genesis, right?
Salvation.
No, Salvation.
Salvation. Okay.
They keep
What was the one with Eddie Furlong?
2
2.
Okay.
Judgment Day.
The good
Now they're
one.
all sorted in my
The
brain.
first 2 are
Which one had Budnick from Salute Your Shorts? 2. That's right, bitches.
The first 2 are chase movies that are done either as an action or a horror, and they're very successful. And so after that, the producers are like, okay, well, what makes these consistent? The rich mythology of time travel and robots. So let's focus
yeah.
all on that.
The rest are just Terminator movies.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
new installments trying to be Terminator-y.
Yeah. So like they've completely missed the mark. And this looks like another one where it's like through time travel, Linda Hamilton, because her character died. Also, there's a character playing a stand-in for Eddie Furlong in this. Like they're gonna CGI the face.
Jesus Christ.
So it's just like, stop it, you guys. Stop it. You have no idea what you're doing anymore.
And it's Paul Walker's face, which
Yeah.
is really bad
yeah,
choice.
it's very poor taste.
So yeah,
So we're not excited about
everybody
that.
check
Was that
out
what deserved more
Terminator.
hype?
No, all right. Let's
Tell us
do,
about a movie that
let's
deserves
do
more
a
hype.
movie that deserve more hype. It's called Luz, L-U-Z.
Mm-hmm.
It's German, so who the hell knows how to say that? It's going in festivals right now. It has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, but only 5 reviews. Have you guys watched the trailer?
Yes.
No.
Okay, the trailer looks
9.
like a lot of fun.
It's only 49 seconds long.
Yes,
But
this is true.
It is effective. It's a very unnerving trailer.
Yeah, it's.
Does lose mean light in German? That's what it means in Spanish.
Oh, really? It
I
might.
don't
This is a
know,
demonic
honestly.
possession movie. It's a horror movie. It's done in a kind of the 70s. At least the trailer's done in that like 70s look. Like a Grindhouse type look.
Okay.
Sort of.
Sort of, but more not over the top. Like the Grindhouse, they tried to do it, and it felt like they were trying too hard almost. What's the? Damn it! I'm forgetting another movie that was similar to this, but it's about a woman. It's the AV Club claims that it's inventing a new subgenre of horror.
okay.
It's apparently very surreal. It's about a woman who goes into I think a hospital.
Yeah. She's a taxi driver.
Oh, police station, who is being followed by a demon that wants to possess her and is in love with her. And then in this police station, some really creepy shit goes down, and I assume the demon shows up and tries to possess her. And it's apparently very like the narrative structure is very unconventional. It's very surreal, and it just seems
It's a lot
like
of
a really
time
fucking
travel.
weird movie.
It's the
Yeah.
Terminator. The
It's a
Terminator.
there's a
shows up.
stand-in for Eddie Furlong.
I think I'm thinking of The Love Witch. Is that a movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminded me of that
I didn't
a little.
see that one though, but
The Love Witch was really good. And it had the feeling of like it's a like a modern made movie that took place in the 70s. You ever see House of the Devil? Do you watch horror movies?
Oh yeah.
All right, you saw House of the
Tons.
Devil?
Yeah.
Where like that was like actually
Wait,
shot
no,
on
I'm
the
thinking
same...
of House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh, okay. House of the Devil
And
was
The
like
Devil's Reject.
was like an 80s style horror movie that was
Okay.
shot even on the same like film they would shoot it on.
Gotcha.
then. This feels like that, only like a little more 70s. The Love Witch was the same way. Yeah, so it looks really interesting. The trailer just came out, so people should check it out.
yeah, it's real short too.
it's
but
real short.
It's pretty effective.
Like too many of these movies that deserve more hype, it's very visual, the trailer, so it's not great for podcasting. It's hard to describe.
Just that it's pretty. There's some good stuff in it. It's pretty unnerving.
Yeah.
And it manages to do that in less than a minute.
Right, and the movie itself is 70 minutes long, which is the perfect length for like a surreal, abstract horror film.
Right.
Because after that,
You got to get in and get
after
out.
that time, you're like, okay, I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
good. I still remember the film Begotten.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, but that film's like 60 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And the first time I saw it, I got really high and watched it, and I came out of it like, was that 3 hours long? How long was that movie?
Seen Martyrs?
No, I haven't seen Martyrs
Very
yet.
Ichi the Killer?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
Weird thing about Begotten is the director only did one other film, which was Shadow of the Vampire.
I
with him.
know. Which
How
is a
did
good
that,
movie.
Yeah, how did that happen though? How did someone watch Begotten? They're like, let's give him Willem Dafoe.
Peter
and
Jackson
John
was
Malkovich.
like,
Yeah.
hey, give this guy a job. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, check
everybody
out
look out
Loose.
for that.
Shadow of the Vampire, another good Dracula movie.
Yeah.
They are rare, but they're
Solid,
out there.
solid Eddie Izzard.
What We Do in
appearance
the
it.
Shadows is good, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Shadow of the Vampire is a ridiculous premise.
Yeah.
It works.
It's
like
it's what if Nosferatu really was Nosferatu?
yeah,
right?
what if
when they filmed
Nosferatu was
Nosferatu?
filmed with a real vampire?
Yeah.
It's like, huh? What if that happened?
What if that happened? Yeah, it's an insane film. So yeah, I think that's an episode.
Yeah.
Michael, thank you so much for coming on.
Do you have
Hype.
do you have things to plug?
Yeah.
You want to plug some stuff?
Just Small Beans Podcasting Network, which you can find anywhere by searching Small Beans for
Yes.
a bunch more podcasts.
Give to
Do
their
it.
Patreon.
Yeah.
They're delightful.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for doing this.
Yeah,
it's great to have you here.
Anytime.
Cool,
Thanks
cool.
for listening, everybody.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Everybody say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Fare thee well.
Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can follow him on Twitter at @thecorlew, CORLEW, and find more music at shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our artwork is produced by Justin Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at @JustinTBrown, and find more of his artwork at artnessbyjustinbrown.com and justinbrown.info. Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.